Boy, that was going to cost me a lot when I'm done.
And I won't call you my Scentsy bitch again until Monday.
Okay, so I want to talk to you guys about finding your fortune. Who's here to make money? If you didn't raise your hand, you're a liar, and I know it. So this is about finding your fortune. The one critical skill that is so important. Anybody want to guess what it takes to find your fortune in Scentsy?
Follow up?
You guys cheated and looked ahead, didn't you? Haha, we got cash register sounds. We're making money. So my cheap secret. Who in here wants to make $100 a month? Raise your hand.
More? More.
Well, starting at 100.
Okay.
Starting at 100. It's 100, 100, 200, 200. All right. Who wants to go to $1,000 a month? Who wants to go to $10,000 a month?
No, I'm just gonna keep my hand up.
Who expects to make $10,000 a month next year? Who expects to make $100,000 a month?
A month?
A month.
I need more.
A month.
Is that a trick question?
That's my question. All right. I want you thinking big numbers, not where you're at, where you're going to be. Does that make sense? How are you going to get there? Doesn't matter how smart you are, doesn't matter how educated you are, doesn't matter how pretty you are, doesn't matter how great your director is, doesn't matter how good your sponsor is. You know, Sherri and I have never met our sponsor, never spoken to our sponsor, not one time. Now, Sherri's in the top 10 in the history of Scentsy for his personal sales. Not a phone call, not a note, not an email, nothing. Never met our sponsor. So don't tell me your sponsor is required to have success in Scentsy. It's not. What is required is a little elbow grease. Here's my secret. The fortune's in the follow-up. It's not my saying. It's one of the legends in network marketing, Jim Rohn. If you don't follow up, somebody else will. Somebody else will make your fortune if you are not following up. To follow up, you must build relationships. You must create how to take a stranger to a friend. How do you follow up and take that relationship from somebody you spoke to that chased you down, that saw Scentsy on your car, that saw Scentsy on your shirt, that saw Scentsy credit card where you're swiping in the grocery store, and says, oh, you do Scentsy. How do you take that to a relationship? Now, I'm going to tell you a little secret. Guys have an advantage here. Socially, we were taught to pursue women. What did that require us to do? Get your phone number! That's so we can follow up. How many times I always hear this, that I hear this particularly from women, but I heard it from Ronnie today, so yeah, particularly from women. I gave my business card out to somebody. Right? What happens when you give your business card out?
They lose it.
They lose it. They wash them. They throw them away. They ignore it. It's file 13. They lose it. Whatever. What does it require even if they kept it? Well, they probably got a stack of them someplace, and they got to flip through them and find them. You know, unless they got one of those like neat desk scanner things I see on the infomercials I want to get all the time. All right? They got to contact you. You're the pretty girl sitting home on Friday night because nobody's calling you. And you ain't got the boy's number to call him and ask for a date. Or it ain't Sadie Hawkins' dance night, and you feel intimidated, you can't ask. If you're old enough to know what I mean by Sadie Hawkins, we're in the same group. This is about getting their information so you can become the dog with the bone. No, I don't want to buy. No, I don't want to see it again. So I want you to think of this as the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Now in this picture you will notice we see some storm clouds. Why is that? Because you don't get rainbows without rain. Requires work. That's why they call it network marketing. They don't call it net easy marketing. Dreams without effort are just your wishes. If you want work, you've got to find something. I want everybody to look under the seat of their chair right now. Are you looking for prizes under the seat of your chair?
What?
Are you looking for prizes on the bottom of your chair?
Hoping for money.
I'm going to tell you up front, there's no prize under there. But you know what that did?
Got you off your butt.
You got off your butt to do some work.
Except for the ones who were like,
That's what we're doing with follow-up. The follow-up is not sexy. The follow-up is not popping balloons and having fun at the parties. This is the elbow grease to make your money. Think of it like this. Your party is not over until you've booked another party from that party. I don't care if that party was 6 months ago. The party's not over until you've booked another follow-up party. You know, my dad used to say the job's not done until the tools are put away. I figured out you women didn't work on cars very much. That didn't resonate with you as much as it did with me, putting away all them wrenches. So dinner's not done till the dishes are done. That assumes you wash the dishes. Honey.
It doesn't resonate with those who don't cook.
Now,
I don't cook.
following up is not about finding the easy apple. Used to be, Scentsy was, it was hard to explain Scentsy, right? Those of you that have gotten in new, you guys got a great advantage. Try to explain a candle with no flame, no wick. Takes a little bit of work, right? We had to explain what the candle was. But when they got it, they loved the idea. People came in mass and droves, right? It was very low-level fruit. If you're picking apples off the tree, what's the easiest apple to reach? The one at the bottom, right? If you want to get apples on top, what do you got to do? You got to build a ladder, climb the tree, all right? So let's talk about how to build the tree. Anybody remember the movie with Matt Damon? Good Will Hunting?
no.
In this scene, Matt Damon has been at a bar. Matt Damon, in the character, is a genius who's working at a janitor at Harvard. And there's this Harvard graduate in there, and he's trying to impress a girl, showing off how smart he is. Matt Damon goes through and puts him in his place, explains he's smarter than the Harvard guy, and he explains it and makes the guy look stupid, and ultimately the girl comes and talks to him. And actually the girl doesn't walk over to him, or he doesn't walk over to the girl. The girl walks over to him and says, "You're stupid. I've been wanting to talk to you all night, and you didn't walk over to talk to me. Now I'm having to walk over to talk to you, but I've got to get up early in the morning, so I'm getting ready to leave." So what does that feel like? You were too busy showing off. You weren't contacting somebody to communicate with them directly, right? But she initiates. This is what happens at the end. This is the smart aleck from the bar. He's talking
You like
to.
apples?
Yeah.
Well, I got a number. How do you like them apples?
That's funny. Good Will Hunting.
Do you like apples?
Yeah.
Well, I got a number. How do you like them apples?
I never really said that after that.
How do you like them apples? And the secret was he got her number. He didn't give her his number. They taught us boys that early on. we got to get your number if we want to be able to call you. We're not sitting at home waiting on you to call us. So some of this is a little social in nature. It's not really your fault you think handing out a business card is the best thing in the world. Because you weren't taught you got to get her number. So us guys got a little advantage there. This is what we're going to talk about. Why should you follow up? You know, since he's been surveying superstar directors over the last months, trying to find those core elements that are common to everybody that is successful. One of the core common elements is every superstar director has some version of a follow-up system. That's what I want you to be able to do. I want you to understand when you're following up, you've planted the seeds months ago. When we do the state fair in the fall, we will get calls in the spring, in the summer. I've been thinking about it, I'd like to join. Plant the seeds now, you'll collect it later. Why is it you need to be following up at all? Well, because as humans we're cautious, right? We don't want to get ripped off, we don't want to get scammed. We want to get into something that's safe, that's profitable, that's going to work for us. Studies show it requires an average of 8 contacts to make somebody feel comfortable. Most professional salespeople contact twice. I want you to drip contacts over a period of time. A contact is not buy, host, join. A contact is a positive communication. It can be a phone call. How did you like your wax? Are you ready for some more? That's a contact. It can be, as we'll get into, just talking to somebody about their family. You saw an interesting story about their kids in school and you clipped the article and sent to them. That's a positive contact. You're building a relationship. Now in this case it's not, I liked your Facebook post. That's not the kind of positive contact we're talking about. This is real world contacts, okay? If you are, and we're just touching them, right? If you're in the grocery store line and you recognize somebody ahead of you, you smack them upside the head. Hey, John, how's it going? No, you tap them on the shoulder, right? Hey, John, how's it going? That's the kind of contact we want. If you're smacking them up upside the head every time you're going, do you want to host a party with me? Are you ready to host a party? Are you ready to buy? Are you ready to join my team? If that's the only contacts you're doing, that's not going to be positive with everybody. We're building relationships. See, I spent a little time, made my fancy. The key is listening. It's not about you, it's about them. People love to know that you heard and took the time to listen to what they said. So if you're talking to somebody and they're dropping hints to you, you can remember it, or you can figure out how to make notes about it in front of them, or you can run right outside and jot down notes to follow up later. Okay? Sherri is real good at remembering all your personal details. I suck at it. I have to cheat, which means I have to develop a follow-up system. What is it I want to know about you? This is all about learning information about your customers, about your hostesses, about strangers, so I can follow up. The poof. Poof goes the magic dragon. I want to know your passion, your outside interests, hobbies, your occupation, about your family. I want to know not just about your family, I want to know about your family's family. So think of this. If you send a birthday card to somebody, that shows you paid attention. If you send a birthday card to somebody saying, this is your spouse's birthday, it shows you paid a lot of attention. You're really building relationships. This is the information I want to collect. Obviously, I want to figure out how to contact you. Where's that at? It's on your contact form, right? It's on the order forms. I want to know information to grow your business. So I want to keep track of what your scents are. I want to keep track of what your favorite warmer designs are. Why? Because if those get discontinued, I want to be able to follow up with you about those later, right? So we just went through catalog transition. If you didn't know, or they didn't call and pester you, how would you know that your customer's favorite scent got discontinued? We're going to cheat. You can remember it or you can cheat. We're going to create a database for it, okay? How are we going to do this? Well, you can do a sign-in sheet at your party, like a wedding book invitation. You can collect it on the order forms. Have every guest at your party start off filling out an order form. Sets the mood for them to buy, but it also collects information about everybody that attended your party. Right? We're going to follow up with not just the people that bought, but the people that attended. They showed interest. Maybe they just didn't want to buy that night. Maybe they weren't motivated at that point. To me, no means not right now. This is not like rape. No does not mean no here. No means not right now. How am I going to follow up? Well, I'm going to do it on my phone. When I meet somebody, I'm going to put their information straight into my phone while I'm talking to them. You know, maybe they can even text me, message me their contact information right then. Okay? If I meet somebody, I can do a Facebook friend right on the spot. I don't need to wait. I don't need to take time out. I can do it right then. This was an interesting, Ronnie and I actually had this conversation. He told me about this guy and he gave a card, but he didn't get a card. And I said, try this on. What if you don't even carry business cards? Somebody asks you for a business card. Can I have your card? I'm sorry, I just gave my last one out 5 minutes ago. If you'll give me your contact information, I'll follow up. Saw a Facebook post the other day. Lady was terribly excited, and it was great. She'd gone through the drive-thru at McDonald's, and she gave a catalog to the McDonald's lady. She had really stepped outside of her individual comfort zone and done that, okay? That was a big deal. I said, that is a good deal. What if you got the contact lady from the lady that was inside McDonald's? You give something, get something back. How can you track it? This is information from the Scentsy family store. You can get binder inserts that have hostess information. You can do the old school, write it all down.
Somebody here won a binder today. Who won it?
Me.
Hold it up. That is an awesome tool to take everywhere with you, you guys.
You can put these binder inserts in. You can also keep a calendar in there, keep your entire party book all in the same place. Now, you can get a little more high tech. Has anybody played around with the contacts tab in the workstation? They've really improved this over time. I like this. Number one, it is necessary for your customers and your contacts to get the monthly newsletter, right, from all three brands now. Right? Used to be we only had a Scentsy newsletter. Now you have a lot of newsletters and you have Grace Adele newsletters. What happens to everybody that buys Scentsy from me? When I ordered in, I clicked the box if they want a Velada newsletter. I clicked the box if they want a Grace Adele newsletter. Why? Because Scensy's going to send them a nice fancy email every month that says it's from me. So it's got a personal contact from me. But they got to be in your workstation. Can you do everything in the workstation? No, you can't for what I want to do. I can't keep track of your favorite scent. There's a notes section that you can put for each contact, and I can type in your favorite scent, but I can't search it by the scent name. I can only search it by your name. So if I know a scent's been discontinued, right, my favorite all-time scent was Wasabi Ginger. Got discontinued a few years. Thankfully, you guys brought it back on the Bring Back My Bar last year, and I bought several hundred bars. So if you're asking for Wasabi Ginger, yes, I have it, and no, you can't borrow it.
Great, honey.
But-
Somebody asked for it on the Facebook page this week, and I acted innocent.
I know, so did I.
Now they know your secret.
So did I. But on the workstation, there's no way for you to search Wasabi Ginger and pull up my name. You can't do it. So how can you do it? Well, in your phone, couple of cheap things. When you put my contact information in there, right? And you're gonna do a couple of things. Number one, my name, my last name should always end with the word customer. I'm Lauren Gibson, customer. When you get a phone call from me, what's gonna show up? It's gonna say Lauren Gibson, customer. Or it's gonna say Lauren Gibson, hostess. Why? Because you're getting a mental reminder before you answer the phone call. What am I going to do on the company information line in my phone? I'm going to put a note in there about whatever we talked about last. I gave you a light bulb. I gave you a particular scent. You needed a particular warmer. When I answer the phone, what do? Hi, Mary. Do you need another light bulb again? Are you burning enough wax? Hi, Mary. Are you enjoying that wasabi ginger scent? Man, do I look like a genius when I answer the phone and talk to you like that. You think I have the greatest memory in the entire world. I do. But I do happen to cheat while I do it. It's right here in my phone. They call it a smartphone. Not because the phone's smart, because it makes me look smart. On your workstation, in the party planner of your workstation, it has built-in follow-up reminders for you. If you're using the party planner on your workstation, it will, number one, take that information from who orders from you online and the information when you put your order information, it puts that seamlessly into the contacts. Okay? But what do I do to track your favorite scent? What do I do to track what your favorite warmer design is? You like a Western motif. You like a New Age motif. You like a modern motif. How do I track that? How do I do it? Well, I use an Excel spreadsheet program to do that. Here's what they look like. These are on the files on Facebook. So I use two of them actually. I've got a customer spreadsheet. I can keep your name. I can keep the size of your order. I keep your contact information, your cell phone number. Why do I want your cell phone number?
You can sign them.
Aha! Because I can call you, but I can also send you a text message. I can use mobilizeme.com and I can do mass text messages. I can use dialmycalls.com and I can send you a voicemail recruiting to all of my customers at once. So if I'm hosting an event in Tulsa, I can send a voicemail reminder to all of my Tulsa customers. I'm going to be at the Tulsa State Fair from this date to this date. I'd love to come out and see you again. Come out and visit me at the State Fair. I'm hosting a party in your neck of the woods. I'm doing a fundraiser for the March of Dimes. I'd like 5 minutes of your time to visit with you about it. Instead of making that call 6,000 times. That's the number of contacts I've developed into our database over the last several years.
Is that me on your phone?
I actually do have that many on my phone. That's why they make, your smartphone actually has more processing memory power than the computers that sent the first man to the moon. It's true. So,
Hey Lauren,
yes,
can you export this information to your contacts in the workstation? Have you tried to do that yet?
I cannot. I have to actually it has a CVC export component to it. I do not know how to use it, and I've tried several times. It will not just automatically export from Excel back to contacts. Once it's in contacts, it will allow you to automatically export it to Excel. So you don't have to, if you enter it in contacts, like the name, rank, serial number, you can export to Excel, and then from there you have to then copy and paste into this particular program to zip sort it by the particular information. So you know what these little arrows are on each one? It means I click on it and it automatically sorts it for me. So I want to know phone numbers. I click on them, it sorts them high to low, low to high. Now I can do the same thing up here with my sort filter, but I'm a little lazy, so I cheat and I just do one click. What do I want to know? I want to know, are they interested in toasting? Are they interested in recruiting? What was the size of their past order? How much are they buying? And I want to know what their passions are, their outside hobbies, information about their family, etc. I can sort it all. Let's say something comes up a few years ago. What did we have? What did we introduce that might be curious as to occupational interest? Suddenly we came out with Patriot warmers, right? So everybody that had an Army contact, boom, I can target all those customers right there. When they came out with the EMT warmers, boom, I can target everybody right there. I can be very specific with what I'm doing. Here's my hostess information. It's the same basic idea, and as you notice, I can copy and paste information from here to the hostess, so I still have to retype your name, rank, and serial number. But I'm going to make notes about where we met, right? Hey, it was at the Walmart, late at night. I'm going to have that information. I'm going to keep track of how much your last party was. So when I call you about your second party, and I go, man, it's been about 4 months since we had your party. Would you like another $75 in free and half price Scentsy like you did last time? I'm going to remind you of exactly how much you made with me last time. How much you got free, how much you got in half price. When am I going to communicate with you about this? Number one thing is I'm going to do it 24 to 48 hours after I contact you, after I meet with you. 1 to 2 days. I'm going to do it while it's still fresh on my mind, still fresh on your mind. Every party guest is going to get a follow-up. So nice to meet you at the party. We had so much fun, right? Ask for feedback. People love to give feedback. You guys get those emails, those junk emails? Get a survey email from some company you bought something from? Do you think they really care that much about your opinion? Yeah, they do some. What they really want you to do is they want you to think they care. Because if you think they're interested in you, you're more likely to do business with them. When you do product delivery, this is a big one. Biggie, biggie, biggie. How many do the drop and go? Product. Here's your product. Thank you. How many deliver the product back to the hostess? Have the hostess deliver the product. Oh, bad. Why? You've got a known customer who likes Scentsy, who liked you, who was buying from you. Boy, if you tried to pay a marketer to give you that kind of targeted information, you'd go broke because it'd be so expensive. Spend 5 minutes with them building a relationship when you deliver the product to them. I know it's a pain to drive around town to make all those deliveries. Do it as much as you can. It's a target market. You can't buy that information. It is priceless. Don't waste it with a drop and go. A week after they get the products, follow up. Hey man, is everything in your order? Did I box it all up correctly? Are you enjoying your scents? How are you liking the product? Sometimes they'll tell you they haven't opened them. Sometimes they'll tell you they love them. Sometimes they'll tell you, boy, that scent doesn't smell as good with the whole bar as the scent sample I smelled. What do? Well, there's an issue. You get a chance to solve it. Instead of them just worrying that they got duped for $5, you can now make a solution out of that. But you got to know about it. And what are you going to do? You're going to follow 30 days afterwards. Why? Because they're probably going to go through their bar of wax, hopefully by then. If they're not, you know what I'm going to do in that 30-day phone call? I'm going to talk to them about how to use the wax. Right? There's several different theories on how to use the wax. Some of my new table up here, I'm going to share this with you. 1 cube at a time. The whole bar does not make it last longer. It makes it throw broader. Okay? But there are people who swear by and stick to, including the chief financial officer of Scentsy Corporate, they do 1 whole bar and they leave it in for a week. So they do Wax Wednesday. Every Wednesday they change the bar. So if you've gone 30 days and haven't used a bar of wax, I'm going to give you suggestions of how to use it. Some tips. Why? I want you using the wax. Why? So you can buy some more in the future. But I'm not doing, do you want to buy more in the future? I'm giving, and I'm not saying, boy, your house must stink because you're not using enough wax. It's in the presentation. I'm being positive and giving you a suggestion for use. What do I want to talk to them about with my business? Well, whatever's unique to them, right? It's all about them. It's not about me. I'm not giving myself money. They're giving me the money. I want to know information, and I want to share information about the businesses as it comes up. When we have transition months, what the warm of the month is, any particular specials that have come up. Like Corey said, Dell sale. How many saw the flash sale on Grace Adele here a couple of weeks ago? How many immediately sent an email out to all their customers? Because I had all their emails. What did that do? It generated sales, right? Lots of sales. How am I going to communicate with people? I use emails. I can tell you up front, only 12 to 15% of you ever open an email that I send you. I'll tell you how I know that in just a minute.
We know. Big Brother knows, you guys.
I can. That one's not because I'm so smart. I cheat. I can send you a mobile text campaign. Handwritten notes are great, particularly when you're getting started. Nothing has the power of communication, the persuasiveness as a handwritten note. That's why your mama told you to send thank you notes to everybody that sends you a gift. And as soon as you got an adult and moved away from mama, you quit doing it. How am I going to do all this? Right here, I'm going to post this and you can visit all of these. I'm going to give you everything you need to know right here. I use a paid service. I use Constant Contact. It costs $15 a month for 500 contacts. I can specifically design my emails. I can add content. There's no size limit. I can click to videos. I can uplink PDFs.
And this part of the commercial, we need to thank Kelly Huffman for that. Because Kelly, you're the one that got us hooked on that.
I love Constant Contact.
So, but you know what it does? It tells me if you open my email. It told me whether you opened my email. It tells me what time and day you opened my email. And what I like to do, is I will put clicks in there. So if I'm writing an article, maybe I write the first couple of paragraphs and I put a click, read more. And it clicks to the rest of it only if you click read more. Guess what? If you click that, it tells me. If I put a video on there and you click on the video, it tells me that. What does that let me do? Spy on you. I'm Big Brother. I spy on you.
He's got too much time on his hands.
I'm not telling you what I do to spy on my wife, because that's a secret.
Mine built in GPS in my granny panties.
He feels very Big Brother-ish.
Oh my God.
You spend a lot of time with your team going through and.
No, guys, this is real simple. It sends me an automatic report. I scan over it. It tells me a rough idea of the percentage. What I'm really looking at is if people particularly clicked on information, if I've got a program going and I want to know who, like a customer, who's interested in this. Because I figure if you've opened it, that tells me one thing. If you've clicked on it, you're very interested. You are the first person that I'm going to follow up with. The first group of people that I'm going to spend my time, my energies to follow up with.
And
That's what I use it
I want to
for.
answer this in my way. Lauren looks at things a lot different than I do, guys. Lauren looks at stuff a lot more from the business end than I do the touchy-feely end of it. I feel like we have responsibility for 3,000 people in our downline. Half of that 3,000 people is Kelly's 1,500. Part of it's Lisa's, part of it's Chandra's. But what it does is if we're putting out information, we're putting it out there to help you grow. It tells me how many people I'm reaching through email. And quite frankly, not enough. What's our percentage of open rate?
If I do a group email, it will be about 15%.
I mean, pretty sad, isn't it? So then it teaches us, okay, we've got to go to other ways to try to reach
Try to communicate.
try to communicate and reach our downline, which the Facebook group's a big part of that. The Facebook book is reaching part of it that doesn't open their email, so it just teaches me there's other ways I need to reach the people that I feel responsible for.
Some of this is generational, frankly, okay? I'm of the generation, I love email. That was the hot new technology when I was sort of coming of age. I love email. Mackenzie hates email.
That's
Mackenzie communicates all social media. It's not email. It's text. It's Snapchat. I had to learn what Snapchat was. By the way, all parents must know what Snapchat is. I'll tell all of them here in a minute.
Thank you.
You've got to know how to communicate with people. You've got to use multiple modalities to communicate, okay? I'll tell you what was curious. The first time I really spent any time with Terry Gillespie down here, she tells me, I don't like the phone. I hate the phone.
Do you want to Twitter, Terry?
No.
Wait.
I said,
So now, what that tells me is, don't use the phone to communicate with Terry. I can make a special note of that in my phone. So when I call Terry, I think, ooh, send her a text, because she's working late at night. She's working nights. She may not want my phone call to wake her up in the middle of the day, or she may have her phone shut off and she's not going to look at it till she wakes up at 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening. Okay? So learn how to communicate. That's why I love Constant Contact. MailChimp is free. Lots of people are using that these days. Lots of people are using Mad Mimi. Constant Contact's a little more expensive, but I like it for some technical reasons, mostly of which allow me to create a format for my emails that I can use over and over and over again, and I can store a lot more images with it than I can that. Evernote. Now the Evernote is a very complicated version. It allows you to integrate lots of information. You can integrate your schedule, you can integrate your phone list, you can integrate your contacts, your appointments, and you can share them among other people. So the freeconferencecall.com, those of you that are calling in and talking to me for free, for you and for me. Thank you, Kelly, for the idea. Webinars, I love webinars. Vocal, I used to really love. I have some connectivity issues with mobile. It works great for desktops, but if you're taking a laptop to a team meeting, that had a little problem. I think having video, like this, when I'm talking to you on the phone, I really want to see you. You can Skype, whatever, to do that. There's a Hostess Coaching app. You go to your apps on your phone and type in Hostess Coaching. It is a free app, and it will walk you through step by step by step for your Hostess Coaching. You set it up to do the reminders the way you want, the timetables, and you plug in and say, I got Mary, here's Mary's phone number, you know, every 10 days, here's Mary's party date. It gives you a prompt 10 days before her party. It pops up on your screen. Call Mary for your Hostess Coaching. Mary's party's tomorrow. Call and talk to her about her Hostess Coaching. Gives you a prompt reminder. Low Tech works great too. Low Tech works great. Here's how. If you're worried about using your phone to track my favorite scent, take a recipe box, a card box, 3x5 cards, write every scent on them. As you get orders from people, write down their names and/or their phone numbers. When that scent's discontinued, you pull that one card out. You now have all of your customer names right there, and you can call all of them. Works great till you get 6,000 customers. It's hard to write that small on a note card. I tried. These are built in. Thank you reminders for going to your fundraiser. I've got some of them here. I'll share with you here in a second. When you do a fundraiser, when you do, drop one of these cards in every bag. Thank you for raising $100 for the March of Dimes. Right? They feel invested. There was an article in the New York Times this week about why people donate, why people invest in charities, because they want a sense of ownership. Right? So NPR is doing my Doing the fundraiser this last week. I love National Public Radio. But I'm weird, I know. But I feel that I pay for the programming. Once I've paid for it, I'm more likely to use it. I'm financially and emotionally invested. So, get them financially and emotionally invested in you by telling them how much they contributed to it. Drop one of those in every time. You got birthday cards, thank you cards. Send them a handwritten note. What's it take to do this? You can have all these fancy tools, and if you don't use them, it's like having a nuclear bomb that you've never exploded. It does you no good. You gotta use it. You gotta do it consistently. This is not easy to do. Some of you are looking around going, God, that's a lot of work. It's all too much work. Well, I'm reminded of the old saying, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Guess what? You have this information. Where is it? Yell it out there. Come on. Where is all this information? It's already on your order forms that you had to keep for your taxes for the last 3 years. All you can do is go back in and start typing in the information already. It's already on your order forms. You've got a customer database already. You just didn't know it. So break this down. Say I'm going to spend a day doing this. Don't say I'm going to spend a month. Say I'm going to do 10 a night till I get it all done. Okay? Make it into bite-sized, manageable pieces. One thing I am going to give you as a suggestion, this is a great way to do it. When I get information from somebody, what do? Is it okay if I call you next week to talk about this? I've now gotten permission to follow up with them. When I call, I'm not cold stalking them. I'm doing what we agreed I was going to do. Right? And so I've gotten their permission to do it. So I want you to go through your action plan when you leave. Pull your phone contacts. Start typing in customer, hostess, notes about them. Create your database. Invest in some technology. And plan your schedule in advance. Anybody got any questions?
Yeah, you went too fast. Are you gonna post that little outline on those last two things?
Absolutely. Number one, it's already on there.
Oh.
Number two, I did it in last year's training. I can see how well it caught. Only because I know you were there
Chandra,
last year.
stop treating him like a husband and ignoring him. Come on.
Yes, it is going to be. It is going to be posted. This is an upgraded version. As we keep doing trainings, as I get feedback from people, I see more things to follow up with, more things to tinker with, to explain, to make it easier to understand. So guess what? If you don't follow up, somebody else will make your fortune. And guess what? If you're not following up with your customers, you know what's going to happen? Someday they're going to visit one of my booths, and I'm going to sell to them, and I'm going to steal them because I'm going to be following up. So if you'd like to just give me your customers now, that'd be okay. No takers, okay.
You guys, I'm gonna
Start
tell you,
following
your
up.
fortune is in the follow-up. That's why you got stuck with me. You realize that, don't you?
How did I follow up?
Lauren got my phone number on our date, the night before I left town for the whole summer. Well, when he wanted to get to me, guess what he had to do? He had to call my mama at that only phone number he had. And guess what my mama gave him? My address. He wrote me very long letters all summer long.
There was some poetry involved too,
There
as
was
I
some
recall.
poetry involved. So sometimes getting the number
That's
isn't
important, all right.
necessarily enough, but get mama's phone number too. Just thought I'd share that with you. So he did. He called my mother, and my mother says she's gone for the whole summer. He got my address from my mother and he wrote to me all summer long.
But I had to ask, you didn't volunteer it.
That's right.
I had to convince her I was not a night stalker.
Well,
Good job, Mom.
and yes, my mother and Lauren, it was love at first sight, and they conspired for a couple of years to get this all worked out, so.
Hey, I kept following up. There was a period of time in there where she didn't think I was the right guy to marry. Imagine that.
He was short.
Imagine that.
It was hard work, girls.
So, guess what I did? I had built a relationship with her mother. So what would I do? I would go have dinner with her mother on Friday
Well,
night.
I was having dinner with others.
And guess what happens when those young men came home and saw my car in the parking lot? They did not come into the house. They left. They got dissuaded. So my following up ran off all my competitors.
Okay.
Sometimes I wished I hadn't been such a good follow-upper.
Okay, I see everybody doing the wiggle dance. They brought out dessert, so why doesn't everybody take one last bathroom break? And Mother, I still haven't forgiven you for keeping them around for so long. We'll talk about that later. But you guys grab a piece of cake, grab a last bathroom break. I'm gonna do some drawings.